Welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going to go through some plans that I've got for the truck this year in 2025. First on the list is to get the truck drivable again, and as you saw in the previous video with the help of Adam, he fixed it and I can now drive the truck, so let's tick that off the list. The next thing we're going to do is get the topper back on the truck. It's been in storage for a few months, so we're going to put that back on the truck and keep it on there for a little bit longer this time. And as you can see, we've already done that, so let's tick that off the list. And these are in no particular order, by the way, but next on the list is to upgrade the wiring. I want to upgrade the fuse box, fresh wiring, have it all neat and tidy. It's still got plugs and things in there for the Mark IV Golf, where the PD130 is from, so things like aircon and all the plugs are still in there. I'm sure there's other wiring in there that's just not needed anymore, and it's just, I want to have everything working. Everything that's in there that should work, I want it to work. That's what I would love to happen. Wiring, fuse box. I'd love for the reverse lights to actually work. I'd love for the horn to actually work. I want to have it MOT ready. Next up on the list is to sort out that f***ing exhaust. The exhaust is, in my opinion, way too big. I'm not sure it's actually made for this truck in particular. It's a 3-inch exhaust with 2 boxes, and it is absolutely butted right up against underneath the shifter tower. The exhaust rattles against that, and then of course it goes along to where the fuel tank is, and the exhaust is butted up against the fuel tank. So as you can imagine, when I'm driving this, it is rattling, vibrating and rumbling so much. And so that's one thing. I would just love to have it just sorted out so that it's just, I can actually talk to the person next to me. Next up, I would love to be able to drive the truck to both Caddy camper events this year. As you know, we've got Newquay in Wales, that's coming up in May. And then in the summertime, we've got Peak District again, which I'd love. Last time, if you saw last year when we drove to Scotland, the gearbox on this shat itself, and so it prevented me from driving the truck all the way up to Scotland from the Isle of Wight. I had it all ready, I had all my camping stuff packed in the back, and then the day before due to go, I just couldn't put it in gear. It would not go in any of the gears really. That annoyed me, and I had to borrow jacks, if you remember in the video. So yeah, this year we've got 2 Caddy campers. I'd love to be able to take this to both. The next thing on the list is I would love to fit some white wall tires to the truck. Not big, thick white walls, but the thin strip. I think that would look really good. Of course there's an aeroplane going overhead. Nice. Anyway, next thing on the list is I've had some brake cables ready to fit on this truck for such a long time. I need to get round and do it. It's such a palaver getting in those rear drum brakes. And there's another f***ing car coming. As I was saying, I need to replace both the cables that go from the handbrake back out to both the rear drum brakes. It's just such a tedious job I've been putting off for such a long time, but it needs to happen. Just for my own peace of mind, there's nothing wrong with the cables. I just want to eventually replace nearly everything on the truck. Next up on the list is maybe two things actually. One, I want to work out why sometimes the windows are really stiff when you wind them up and down. The other thing is the glass in both sides of the door, they are cut differently, and there's a little crack in this side. So every time I wash the car, I've got to then dry the inside, and want to get that taken care of, whether that means replacing the glass altogether or what, I'm not sure. But those are two things possibly this year. Who knows? My friend Winfred actually sent me some stickers. Now the topper is back on the truck, I should really get round to putting them stickers on. Next up on the list is I eventually want to get some kind of lighting for up here in the topper. Let me show you. So maybe like some strip lighting, maybe LED, maybe battery powered, just maybe around the edge of the ceiling of this topper, just so that we've got lighting when we go camping. Also, maybe find a better solution for blacking out or blanking out, maybe some curtains or something. The only problem is, can't really drill into the wall of this. I'm guessing this is like some sort of fiberglass or whatever, but it is quite thin in some places, and so I think drilling into it or screwing things in is out of the question. So I've got to find a answer to curtains and privacy. Last time we had the IKEA complete dark blackout things that I put with magnets, and they just kept falling off. So that's another thing. Find a better solution for privacy. Also on the list is to sort out this front license plate bracket slash holder, whatever you want to call it. Like you saw, someone reversed into it. I don't know how the number plate itself is still intact, but the actual bracket, they reversed into it so hard, they actually bent the whole license plate holder, and I'm struggling to find the exact same holder bracket thing online, so I might need some help from you guys with that. The next thing on my list is I want to sort out the doors and how they shut. Some of my friends have got the best shutting doors. I know this is such a weird thing, but I envy it. I envy it so much. They have the best shutting doors on a Mark 1 Caddy or whatever, and I'm just like, how the hell? It's so lush when it shuts. It's like a brand new car. And these, I have to fucking almost slam them shut because I'm just there for ages. And I'd love to figure that out. I think it's something to do with like the actual door hinge. I think you need to get like a car jack to hold the door up, and it's some sort of science, and I'm going to dive into that this year because these are awful at shutting the doors. One thing I forgot to mention on the list is I'd love to get these gauges actually wired in so they're actually working and not just filling a big gap, because this is where the stereo would have been, and it didn't come with a stereo. So I've just had these gauges put in for the time being, thinking, yeah, one day I'll get round to them. Otherwise, this is how my interior would look. So massive shout out to Noah and Randall from Florida for sending me these. Big shout out. I really should get these wired in. That is on the list for this year. That's pretty much what I'm going to do with the truck this year. I'm probably going to add things to the list as the year progresses. You never know what could happen. The whole thing could probably blow up for all I know. I don't know. But anyway, now I do have some personal goals that I'd love to achieve. So what I'll do is I'll try and replay this video back in December this year, and let's see how many of these goals I achieved, including the truck. So here's some personal goals. I want to lose about 10 to 15 kilograms. I want to ride my push bike more. I would love for me and Chloe to have at least one date night per month this year, and we've already had our first date night of the year in Wagamama's, which was quite nice. Next on the list is I would love for me and Chloe to go back to Australia. In 2019 we did a whole road trip on the east coast from Melbourne all the way up to Cairns, and this year I'd love to go back, but this time to West Australia. I'd love to go to Perth and do a mini road trip in West Australia. That's on the list. Next on the list, I'd love to get a better job. That's for my mental health, and financially I'd love to be better off. Next up, I'm gonna set myself a goal to post at least one video on YouTube per month. At least one video. Next on the list, I'd love for us to go up and see our friends in Scotland for a few days. That would be amazing. Maybe even go into the Scottish Highlands again. And also, I'd love to teach our dog Holiday some new tricks. I'm currently teaching her something called take a bow, and there's a whole bunch of other tricks that she's learnt in the last couple of years. I'd love to teach Holiday some new tricks. And lastly, the plans for Old Volks Supply in 2025. Keep it simple, stay consistent, keep posting on social media. I'm going to keep trying to include it in these videos just to sort of promote it a little bit more. As you know, the profits made from Old Volks Supply does help fund paying for artists for the graphics that you see on the actual garments, and it also allows us to buy certain things for the video, like things that I want to review, little items, products that I want to review, has to come out of my own money. So using Old Volks Supply as a way for you guys to not only wear some really cool clothes, but also the profits made allows this to sort of get better. Does that make sense? Going forward, we are no longer going to be featuring specific people's vehicles, people from the community. We're not going to be putting their vehicle on a garment, on a hoodie, on a t-shirt anymore, because as we've researched, people just don't like it. They don't want a t-shirt with someone else's vehicle on it, basically. Just to wrap up, gonna keep it simple, do more generic designs. I'm not gonna feature anybody else on the t-shirts, unless it's my own, of course. But everything is gonna be very generic, and hopefully people will lean in towards that and help support the channel, help support this little small business that I'm trying to build. I'm just going to keep chugging along with it, really. All right, those are my goals and ambitions for 2025. I would love for you guys to hold me accountable, ask me about certain things as the year goes on. The list is probably going to increase over time, but hey, that's what I would love to achieve. If I could do all of those things that I just listed, that would be amazing. I think I actually made a video a few years ago with my future plans for this truck. I'd love to have a little look back at that now and see if we actually accomplished anything that I had on that list. So obviously, as you look at it now, it is pretty bone stock. It's still got the original engine, it's still got the original wheels on it, still the original ride height, still got the stripes on the side. I'm guessing that's from a dealer, the dealership maybe in California or wherever this is from. So the new plan is to take out the black interior. Now I know what you're thinking, black interior on a mountain green truck is super rare-ish in the US. Well, this isn't the US, and here in the UK, all we've got is black interior. All the UK Caddies, the Golfs, everything here, mountain green with a tan interior. Oh, it just looked amazing. So I was attracted to that, and I'm gonna put tan interior in there. So anyway, again, the plans might change. So far, tan interior. I'm gonna lower it when I've got some money. Drop plates perhaps on the back, coilovers on the front. I'd love to change the wheels, maybe have like a set of wheels and I can swap out whenever I feel like it. So I love the ATS pepper pots. I don't know what it is about them. I like the gold looking ones, and I also love the normal sort of silver looking ones. Love to get a gem top. I've been thinking a lot about this. The only thing I haven't really decided yet is the engine. I don't know. Eventually I know that I'm going to do an engine swap, and that'll be the first one I do, but I don't know what engine. I love the idea of getting what I used to have in the Caddy, which is the Mark III GTI Golf engine, which is an AGG, I believe, or maybe something like a 16 valve. I don't know whether to get that or whether to go diesel and get like a PD130. I don't know. At this point, it's not important. My main thing is obviously tan interior, lower it, engine swap later on, maybe change the wheels when I have some money. And of course, if I can, I'd love a gem top. with all the gem top. I don't want anything that looks like a gem top. I want a gem top, and I know they're quite hard to find even if you're in America. I know for a fact that I want to also change the fuse block to maybe is it called a CE2 or a CE3? Again, not sure, but I definitely want to upgrade the fuse block, because, and the whole harness, the wiring harness as well. There's just certain things that I just want fresh and brand new, because apparently these things are notorious for having bad wiring that just sort of gives up after a while. Wanted to put in some VDO gauges. My friend in California, Eddie, has shown me his mountain green. I can't remember if it was on his truck or if it was on his mountain green hatchback. Anyway, he's got the VDO gauges in where the stereo should go, and they just look amazing. What it all boils down to, my master plan is just to enjoy this beautiful machine. The next video coming out on the channel is everything you need to know about Caddy campers in Wales. It's going to have all the information there, and if you have any questions, please feel free to comment below. Thanks for watching today's video. I will see you in the next one. I want an upgraded fuse box. I'm done with the ceramic fuses, even though I'm sure it works fine. Let's do that again. They're the original steel. Fucking hell, the amount of traffic. Truck, not the big chunky white walls, just the little thin strip around the... This is getting ridiculous now, the amount of traffic coming through here. So let me just rattle through these. The next thing I want to put... I thought this was a nice secluded area to film, but there seems to be cars passing through like every single minute. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I'm also losing the daylight. Next up on the list is I have got... Of course there's an airplane going overhead. Of course there is. It's such a palaver getting in those rear drum brakes. And there's another fucking car coming. As you know, it is just me with Old Volks Supply. For fuck's sake, another car. Oh my god. And back into the YouTube channel, and here's another car. Another car. My god. I tell you what, I am never coming down here to film again. There's just, for some reason, just so many cars are coming down here. This is my issue, right? I'll find a nice little spot to film, I'll sit and wait, and there'll be no traffic, no people. As soon as I hit record on that camera, bosh, everybody comes out, everybody drives past, everybody with their f***ing dog comes along.